Hello everyone, welcome back to our channel. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. I greet you all according to your time you will be watching this video. So guys, I have a video here I would like we all to watch. But before then, if you're meeting my channel for the very first time, you're highly welcome. Please do well to like, share and subscribe. Leave your thought about this video and let us know what you think about this video. So guys, let's watch the video together and see you towards the end.
United States diplomats Ambassador Matt Green and Johnny Carson have said even Nigerian citizens that supported the winners of the February 25 presidential and National Assembly elections in the country were disappointed with the electoral process. In a joint treatise, both envoys who monitored the election insisted the critical lessons must be learned very fast from the shortcomings of the last polls by Nigerians and Africans with a view to forestalling such flaws in the future. Writing for the Washington-based President Woodrow Wilson Center, United States Nonpartisan Policing Forum for Tackling Global Issues Through Independent Research, Green and Carson noted that among other issues, many polling stations opened late while polling workers reported material shortages. While Green was administrator of the U.S. Agency for International Development, executive director of the McCain Institute, United States ambassador to Tanzania, and four-term House of Representatives member, Carson was an ambassador to Nigeria and several other African countries. The ambassadors recalled that on February 25, Nigeria held its presidential election, with millions of Nigerians going to the polls for opportunity to elect their new leader, but noted that the process was fraught with irregularities. Ayo.
Of punitive measures for people who obviously break the electoral laws. We had a number of people, no arrests at least so far has been made, and just these lessons that we can take forward as a nation.
Dr. Patti?
Where are the two diplomats coming from, Matt Green and Johnny Carson? Both of them have been diplomats in Africa. Green in Tanzania, Ambassador Carson in Nigeria. Both of them were writing their opinion for the Woodrow Wilson Center, which is a foreign policy think tank in Washington, D.C. Number three, both ambassadors were part of the International Republican Institute and National Democratic Institute joint mission to Nigeria to observe the February 25 presidential and National Assembly elections. So this is what informed their commentary. They are writing from the perspective of persons who were direct observers, and they were more or less reporting what they saw in terms of irregularities, in terms of how many Nigerians, including those who supported candidates, were disappointed, in terms of how the elections of February 25 did not meet the expectations of Nigerians who were exposed to shortage of materials, late arrival of materials, and poor conduct of the entire process, signposted by the failure of technology and logistics on the part of Inec. But I think special emphasis should be placed on some of their recommendations. In their concluding paragraphs, they recommended, speaking out from a foreign policy perspective, to the American establishment, to the United States, to focus more on the stability, on governance issues in Africa, and use democracy to promote good governance. Based on the observation that, yes, the appetite for democracy is very high in Africa, but that since 2019, governance has more or less flattened in many of these African countries. But the people are enthusiastic about democratic systems of governance. And to that extent, they are recommending to the United States to support the democratic process in Africa as a way of consolidating the democratic process. Two, they are also recommending to the United States support for civil society and institutions in Africa that promote the objectives of democracy and good governance. Number three, they are also saying that the entire world should pay close attention to what happens in Africa with regard to the democratic process. In any case, those recommendations coming from them perfectly consistent with the foreign policy direction of the United States. That's one. The second thing that should be noted here is that, yes, they said that Nigeria is very strategic. And for those persons who have lost faith in their country, well, we keep getting reminded all the time that Nigeria is indeed very important, and that the stability of Nigeria, how Nigeria makes progress with democracy, could have implications for the future of the country itself, which is likely to be one of the most populous countries in the world by the year 2050, could have implications also for the African Union's 2063 agenda, development agenda, and also for peace and stability in the country. The stability of the sub-region, depending a lot on Nigeria. Nigeria making a success of its democratic process, it is argued, can also inspire similar success in neighboring African countries. And that, again, is a no-brainer. Then, of course, on the domestic front, they are recommending to the president-elect to run an inclusive government, as their phrase, an inclusive government. And so it's just as well that Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu had been talking about reaching out to other persons and willing to work with everybody. How that plays out in real terms, remains to be seen. And then, of course, they are saying that lessons learned from the election of February 25 should inform preparations for next election. They said the next election now is on March 18. The question arising therefrom is, does Inec have the capacity to learn? Nigeria's political class, is that political class, the professional political class that is it willing to learn? After the conclusion of the 2019 general election, there were reviews, there were lessons. Inec identified some of those lessons. The chiefest of this being Inec's position about internal democracy within parties. Have we seen any of those parties learning from that past experience? As a PDP, which even organized its own review after 2015, after 2019, as a party and its members, or its members, have they shown the capacity, to learn from lessons? Part of the problem we have in this environment is a failure to learn, is a problem of memory, is a present-mindedness, what is called temporocentrism, of the professional political class, which then places us in a recursive context with regard to our democratic experience. But it's good to have, observers reminding us of our flaws and reminding us that we can do better.
I mean, the truth has to be told. With due respect, we don't need American former ambassadors to come and tell us that we had flawed elections. I think it's just like petting people at the back if they have to remind us. We knew what happened. Even Inec came out to say they had glitches. They had problems. They had technical glitches. But the shocking thing is that Inec has not been able to explain the nature of problems they had. And hopefully Inec is still reviewing those problems they had. Because the basic question people have constantly asked Inec is that what happened, why did we not use the IREV and get real-time results as I went due? But Inec has not been able to answer that question. They just say technical glitch. Technical glitch is not good enough. Let us know what truly happened. And for the love of mercy, Inec too should also learn to respect the court orders. Don't stop any political party from inspecting the materials out there. The court has ruled on that. Let them inspect the material. We need transparency to be able to wade through this process. But the sad reality is that we don't learn. We are back here again, exactly where we were 40 years ago in 83. Because we forget in a hurry, it was that same election that led Fela to sing "Teacher Don't Teach Me Nonsense" in 86. When he said, "Na the second election, na him was he pass." Babala nonsense, how people not go vote. We're going to get millions to millions. It was that same election that tainted the credibility of the Chief Justice of Bende State that was said to be an upright man, Justice Oviewhisky. That same elections with Fedeco, because we don't learn, we forget things in a hurry. All the controversies about that same election in 83 are the things that are playing out. The only difference is the technological interplay. We heard about money and bribery. We remember the famous interview with Justice Oviewski when he was asked, the water pass under the bridge. He said, if I see 1 million naira cash, I will faint. We have not forgotten those things. And those are the nascent problems we have with our democracy because we don't learn. And I think really we choose not to learn because we have institutional, cataloging in abundance. But we just choose not to learn. So if we are just waking up because some foreigners are coming to tell us that our elections are flawed after the West had made mockery of our electoral system, then we know that they are just patting us on the back. The question is, what are we going to do to ensure it changes? And are we on the right path? Hell no. Because if we want to be on the right path, we will allow the parties to inspect the materials used for the elections in the first place. Not whipping up any level of discrepancy. We will show our organizational competence. We will learn how to speak to the people. I watched the interview yesterday with some Inec reps. And it falls short. So we have not learned. And if we don't learn, things will continue the way they are. 40 years after.
So guys, thank you so much for watching. How would I see the video? Wait till you think about this video. Make a leave in a thought for the comment section. I will see you in my next one. From me to you all, I say bye for now.